everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ladies with Tradies, work in the trade, living the life. I am Kate Muldoon, and I'm really excited because I get to be interviewed today by our incredible ops manager, Megan Jackson, who has been with us for a little while now. She knows, I believe, me fairly inside out because we've been through a lot together in the last couple of years, both professionally and personally. So it's a great privilege to be here with you today, Meg. So thanks for allowing me to make you do this podcast with me.
Thanks, Kate. It's good to be here. Though I think I very much enjoy being behind the scenes. So this is exciting to be pushed to the front a little bit. And yeah, I'm very excited about what we're going to chat about today. There's some questions here that I am intrigued to know the answers to.
Amazing. Thanks, Megs. So I guess today what I was hopeful for, it's the end of the year, and 2024's been a very interesting year for many people, and it's certainly been an interesting year for me, and I haven't shied away from that. And many of you who've been following us for a while will be familiar with some of my experiences, but at the same time, there's probably some bits that you're intrigued by. And I'm here to share, I guess, my experiences and hope that they can impact you guys in your own worlds, both from a business standpoint and as individuals. So Megs has got a list of questions, but, as per Ladies with Tradies podcast, we'll take this wherever it needs to go. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to being hit up, Megs. So let's get into it.
Thanks, Kate. So yes, there's been lots of change here at Ladies with Tradies this year. It's been very, very interesting, but I want to take you back to July this year, where you sat down and had a conversation with me and told me that you were going to leave or retire from Ladies with Tradies. I'm keen to know why you thought this was a good idea at the time.
Yeah, so Megs, we've reflected a lot on this, and I have especially. So, where do I start on that one? My mental health has been a bit of a roller coaster over the last few years, and there's many varied reasons for that. Primarily chemical, but also some of it's a bit environmental. Some of it had been, probably it's been with me a long time. And so that discovery alone enabled me to stand back and look at my life, I guess, as a whole, and kind of do some reflecting on what I need or needed for myself to be well. What does that even mean? Oh, it's a big question. For me, it means feeling like I have vitality, that I'm up and about, bouncing off the walls like normal. I don't feel tired or fatigued. I'm passionate and feeling like the full spectrum of emotions of life. And I guess in July, around that time, I wasn't feeling that. And there was a couple of things that were challenging me at the time in business. The short version, Megs, I could see that at the time I believed I was a hindrance to the business. I thought that my presence was getting in the way of my staff pushing themselves out of their comfort zones and them growing into another level of coaching and leadership, because if I'm always in the spotlight and they don't have that opportunity, then I'm robbing them of those experiences. So that was one of the things that I came to. So I wasn't talking to myself about myself when I was by myself very nicely at all. That coupled with, this burning that maybe there were other things that I needed to be doing. I since have discovered that they were probably more just me trying to fill a void in myself or to fill a hole. I'm still progressing some of those sideline businesses, which is exciting, but that wasn't the case. I didn't need to be going anywhere to feel that way. And certainly I feel like I'm showing up as my true old self nowadays. So I thought I was a hindrance by being in the way of everybody else. And I didn't think there was space for me. because the team's so amazing, and it was so amazing. So I thought at the time it was time for me to step out of the way for other people to be able to grow into spaces that perhaps I was occupying. So that's what drove me, I guess. That was my belief at the time. That's not my belief now,
Yeah.
after having gone through it. But yeah, I believed that, and I also, I guess, was on that quest of, it had been drummed into me by the coaching fraternity for so long that we want to build a commercial profitable enterprise that works without us. And I had arrived at that place. I had arrived at a place where the team was solid enough and it had the right structures in place that it actually didn't need me anymore. So I again have very different views about that as a concept, which we might talk to later, but I had belief systems that weren't true to who I really am and what I really, if I dug down, believed of myself and of business. So yeah, it was one of those decisions that obviously I had to experience and go through in order to come out better and stronger on the other side.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really interesting as you talk through that, because I was seeing it from the other side, and it's even hard for me to hear now that you thought that you were a hindrance, because we all knew at the time that you weren't a hindrance and you were amazing. But it was difficult, I guess, for us to express and for you to be open to hearing that. So, but we might touch on that a bit more later. What happened? What happened for you once you left, Kate? How did you feel? What sort of emotions did you go through?
Oh, grief was probably the first one. I felt like I was letting go of my baby. And I yeah, so I went through a process, like the emotion of it was quite big. But I was really good at justifying to myself why it was necessary. Um, I am a bit of a force to be reckoned with when I speak to myself, which many of you listening will be as well. And if I've convinced myself of something, it will take a fairly direct jolt to my system for me to undo that belief. So I felt it was the right thing to do. I felt that I needed to do it because for my health and for the business's growth. I was like, well, this business might take off if I'm out of the way. Maybe I'm the problem, and the reason that we're sort of plateauing is because I've got too much baggage in it and it needs a fresh set of eyes on it. So I felt like I was doing the right thing. I felt like my truth was this is what needs to happen. But I did grieve and I was very lost, and I went into a cave, I suppose. And I was put, like, that was part of my process with my business coach at the time, was putting myself into the cave mode, we called it, where I needed to experience doing nothing. Because as business owners, people say if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Like, I was wearing busy as a badge of honor. And so rather than fill my time with everything like I would normally do, I did nothing. Yeah, that didn't work for me. So here I am thinking part of my healing is that I have to be idle and I have to just sit and I have to be present and I have to be all of these things that fucking get stereotyped out there around what good health and what good business ownership looks like. And wow, have I learned that most of that is absolute BS. So after the grieving, the goodbyes, the unpacking that, oh, you should this and you should that. Like I did, I should myself to death through that period of time, a few months, and I had an emptiness, like there was something missing. So that was, but I didn't realize that it was Ladies with Tradies was what was missing, because it was only in needing to come back that I realized that it was exactly what I needed. So it's a bit of the, you don't know what you got till it's gone. or that you let go of it.
That knitting piece, Kate, was it like that sense of purpose or something like that? Or yeah.
Yeah, it felt like I had like, and I think the challenge with it is because I had so willingly let go of it because I felt it was the right thing, that, and I was like, well, it can't be that because you were so willing to let go of it. So the void can't be that. It must be something else. And the searching was just led to nothing. Um, I meditated on it. I journaled on it. I did bloody Wordle. I did like all this dirt talk, like talk to myself, talk to think, talk to my coach, talk to my mates. Nothing was leading me to this, like filling what this emptiness was, until I had to come back. And then I literally came to life overnight.
Yeah, like that light bulb moment of the ducks all just lining up and what's meant to be is meant to be.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting because being on like the other side of, what happened once you left as well, from a Ladies with Tradies side, I feel like it was quite similar in terms of there was a lot of grief, I think, in the team left behind. And I don't think you realise the impact that you have on the team at Ladies with Tradies and also the greater community at Ladies with Tradies as well. We didn't have the option to go into the cave, which I'm quite grateful for because I don't like a lot of thinking time. But there were some amazing things that happened too, I think, while you were gone, in terms of you're talking about before, in terms of you felt like you were capping and the staff had potential to grow and bloom. And it was amazing to see, I think, some of that take place and what they learned in your absence.
100%. And I see that glaringly being back. So what I believed to be true was true. Like that is and is still true. It's about how much you allow your staff to step up and into their own power and their own greatness. And you're exactly right, Megs. Like they didn't have a choice, because I was gone. And so that's awesome because I haven't taken a lick of anything back from them that hasn't been necessary. Like the things that they owned while I was gone, they've still owned, and they're killing it. Like they're doing it better than I could ever do it. So yeah, you bang on. It's a beautiful thing to watch when you get that balance right. Like, and sometimes removing yourself from the situation completely obviously works well.
Yeah. Not that we were recommending that people.
No, maybe just go on holidays. Don't quit or don't retire.
Yeah,
Just go
yeah,
on an extended break and allow them to grow
yeah.
into that. 100%. No, I'm not an advocate for leaving unless it's 100% the right reason.
What did you learn about yourself over this time?
Oh, a lot of things. I learned that I haven't trusted myself enough. And I haven't believed in myself enough. And, like, thank you for the beautiful compliments earlier about impact. When you start something from scratch, which most of the listeners who are on here today will have, it becomes a part of you, and it is part of your DNA. It is part of your personification. You are the walking human being version of your business. And I had denied that and even taught people that their business cannot be their identity. Well, shit, haven't I had a big learning slope on that? Because I don't believe that anymore, having been through what I've been through. And the other thing in saying that, Megs, that I've learned is it's okay to change your mind. So the power of vulnerability, it for me in the last 4 months, and deciding that I have to lean on people to support me through hard times, deciding that I don't have to have the answers all the time, which I've been pretty good at overall, like seeking counsel and asking for advice. But I threw myself into vulnerability and just said, I don't know what to do. I need help. And I just kept talking to people. And what I learned about myself through that is that I'm a pretty freaking good human being for a start, and that I do make a pretty good impact, just like so many people who are listening probably haven't recognized of themselves. So when you're lacking confidence and when you are your belief in yourself is a bit rubbish, I couldn't see that as well as I see it now of myself. You're shaking your head at me, Megs.
Yeah.
Um, I see now the damage that I was doing to myself by subscribing to my own shitty stories about my lack of worth. And so that really makes me want everybody to, I want to talk to everybody about this. I've always been really good at building people up and helping them to believe in themselves enough. But what I've been really good at for myself is pushing that away for myself. So if somebody's wanted to build me up in the past, I'm like, oh, yeah, 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 but it's the team, but it's this, but it's that. But I know now that I need to believe what people say to me, just like all of you listening need to believe what people say about you.
Yeah. It's the benefit of hindsight, isn't it? Like,
Oh,
you can
mate.
feel that now. It's like, this might be a slightly selfish question coming from me, but I was one of those people knocking on your door back then saying, Kate, like, we believe in you. You're so much bigger than this, and trying to get you to see that, but you couldn't see that. And I know there was others too. There was others members of the team, and I'm sure your other half, Jace, was doing the same. And as
Yep.
you know, there were some sneaky conversations happening in the background. But I guess I'm mindful of other business owners or other people who might be feeling the way that you were feeling. Um, do you think the people around you, like myself, could have done anything different at the time to help you see this? Like, yeah.
No. And
Mm.
this is the thing. When and my beautiful best mate Danny, her and I have talked about this over the years. This is not a new theme for me. Some of us are not, um, even if we get a tap on the shoulder from the people that love us, if we've made a decision, we've made a decision. And I truly believe, without getting too woo woo, that the universe will deliver you exactly what you need. And so those taps on the shoulder, I didn't heed those. There were about 4 different taps. And like I said, I'd subscribed so heavily to the story that I believed to be true about why I needed to make the decisions that I made. There probably wasn't anything anybody could do. And it was only once I started to question my decision that people started rising to the front and going, well, no shit. Like, we tried to explain that to you, but you didn't want to see. So that is going to be true for people, and you cannot hold that against yourself. Like, we've had conversations, Megs, where I'm like, God, I feel like such an idiot. Why didn't I see it? But you can't. And I wasn't supposed to see it. I was supposed to go through what I've just gone through and continue to journey so that I could be where I am and as strong as I am and feeling as fucking passionate as I've ever felt before. So if I hadn't have gone through all that, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I'm only being dished up exactly what I need.
Yeah. So I was thinking, you saying that. So you're basically saying if you had your time again, there's nothing differently you'd do this time?
No,
No. No.
nah, because you're and I just think when I get asked that question, or when I hear people say, oh gosh, if I, the benefit of hindsight, or if I got a do-over, I I don't sign up for do-overs. I believe we're only ever tasked with what we can tolerate. And for some people, and you and I've had this chat recently too, it's like, you, Kate, like, don't tell me that I'm only being served up what I can deal with. I get it. I know it can feel like that when you're in it, and I've been there, and I've had one of the hardest lives that I've heard of, from a journeying perspective through this lifetime. But I honestly reckon everything happens for a reason, and even the worst, hardest shit. And you become stronger, you become more resilient. These are gifts that are given to us. Our hardships are our gifts. um, I have also been accused of being so ridiculously optimistic about life and things that it's sickening, but I don't do toxic positivity, but I'm probably right up next to it because there's nothing that I have been through that I don't think I needed.
Yeah. And you are right. You're definitely a positive person, and it's probably one of those things that I quite admire about you is that, yeah, you can have these situations that are very challenging and character building. And I think some people would want to crawl under a rock and dwell on just how negative it was and all the bad things that happened with that situation. But you always managed to come out with learnings and the positives. And I think that's really admirable.
Yeah. Yeah, thank
Um, Tell me, how hard was it to come back, Kate, after
you.
in the big announcement and then coming back?
I guess there's two parts to this answer. The first is, um, first I came back out of necessity, and then I had a choice. So the necessity presented itself, and then I had to choose what how I was going to come back. And like, what a luxury for me. So I want everybody to know that I see the gift, like how lucky am I in that. But I got to choose, or I had to choose. Well, I didn't have to choose because I could have just walked straight back in and gone back to the status quo. So I stopped myself after the first step, which was the necessity. I stopped myself and really asked myself some questions about, is this the right choice? And I went through a lot of things. Should Ladies with Tradies be closed? Should I keep venturing down the path that I am with these other little businesses that I really want to grow and I will continue to grow? Should I go and get a job? Should I like, I went through so I questioned a lot. And I did that intentionally because I didn't want to choose something that was just just because. So that's what everybody needs to do for themselves if they get to these types of crossroads. It's really put yourself through a questioning process around all of the options that you have on the table. For me, what made it almost a compulsion to come back was legacy. And how could I possibly leave you, mob? Like, what the heck? How could that even cross my mind? And I sat and part of one of my meditations is sit down and think about what's your vision. And the vision I have, I don't want to get emotional about it, and I've had this multiple times, this vision is 10 years down the track. I bring all of the Ladies with Tradies alumni together, anybody who's ever been in our sphere, and we have a major fucking party. And I see their kids there and their young adults or whatever. And those kids are saying thank you for helping my mum and dad, or grandkids, or whatever it might be. And I see it so clearly, and I can even rattle off the clients and whose kids they are. It's the Sims kids, it's the Williams kids, it's like all these kids who I've got to know through a screen, whose parents live their best life because we made a difference to them. So that's why it was a compulsion. Like, when I choosing to come back, it was like, I cannot let go of that. That has never changed for me, what I've wanted for people. And I'm like, how can I possibly just change my mind or turn my back on that? Because it is part of me. Like, I hope you can hear how much it is, because like that's my wish. It's that we get, 10, 20 years down the track and we look around the room and there's these fucking happy faces who have created whatever success means to them. So it felt right. It just felt, it was a compulsion. It was like the fire was, it was like an acetylene bomb was let off in my belly and it just exploded. And it's like, you have to do this, girl. This thing is more important and bigger than you. And you've got the right people on the bus. Let's fucking do this. So it wasn't hard. um, it wasn't hard to be like, I'm coming back. And I think having now I'm 100% in like the chair and I am responsible for it, that on top of that compulsion and that passion has just, it's made it easy.
That's pretty special, Kate. I'm glad it wasn't a hard decision. I'm quite grateful for that. And yeah, I just hear so much heart in what you're saying, and it's your big heart, but it's also the heart of Ladies with Tradies, and I think what we're all about. We'll have to put like a wait list in the show notes for the 10-year party that's coming up.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we can never start planning too early for these things. Yeah. What's the best thing about being back now that you're here?
Oh, just like talking to people and um being so sure of the goal, which is that vision I just cast. People truly work in the trade, live in the life. It's just conversing with people and feeling back completely in my own heart and knowing that that's my responsibility. It's our responsibility as a business to not allow people to let this pass them by. I know how good we are as a business. Call me egotistical, arrogant, whatever you want. I don't actually care because I know it's the truth. I know we can help you. I know that we can change your life and help you live better, however that looks for you. Um, that's what I'm loving is talking to people and hearing their stories and listening for the reason that I have to help them understand what they need to do. Um, so that's been really cool. And I'm coaching again. Um, don't all, think that I'm going to open the list and it's going to be open slather. It won't be. But the coaching's been heaps of fun because of that same reason. It's like I have this compulsion. It's a necessity now that I've got to bring that impact to the front. And yeah, so it is. It's making that impact again. It's I feel alive. I feel on purpose. I feel incredibly blessed to have this opportunity again. Um, and that, the clients and our community and the team are just thrown their arms open and been like, woohoo, you're back. And I feel like I'm back, like probably better than ever. So that's been really nice to feel like that.
Yeah. And does that restore what we're talking about earlier when you say, like, you didn't trust or believe in yourself, having those conversations, being back with the team and, everyone welcoming you with open arms? How is that story going now?
Oh, well, I'm not 10 foot tall and bulletproof, but I'm certainly more resilient and more confident than I've been in a lot of years. And uh, that has come through a lot of work, but also by being, I don't, nobody who has impacted me in the last little while with just a message to say, it's great to see you back, or a phone call, nobody will understand the power and the weight that that's had. It's interesting. People, we teach, or all the gurus teach that you shouldn't be looking for external validation in this life. It should all come from the internal. But by shit, it helps. you know
Mm.
again, one of these things that we get flogged with, and I'm sick of woke bullshit, which is like, oh, you've got to love yourself first. Yeah, you do. I do agree with that. But by shit, when you're in a hard spot, hearing it from other people does hold a lot of weight and it does get you through. So yeah, it's been super humbling, Megs, like ridiculously humbling. And but I'm more open and willing to receiving now than I've ever been before.
Definitely. Yes. Open to hearing it and listening to it, and it's brilliant. So
Yeah.
that's good. What advice do you have about business for other business owners now?
Well, first, don't listen to woke bullshit. Like, trust yourself. Oh, guys, I could write a book on all of the rules that I'd love to fucking break about what we get taught about business, about mindset, about life after going through this. And I probably should do that because we just got to get real about things. And when you don't trust yourself and you cling to these other belief systems that you read about or you hear about or your coach tells you or your bloody whatever, and you don't go, hang on, where does that sit for me? How does that reconcile or not? Is that something that I need to take on to be true, or is it something I need to question? Please do that for yourself. Just because, and I mean this about our team too, like if you're being coached and you're like, that just doesn't quite align for me, dig into it harder. If and this is the thing, I have always been all types of gray as a person. I'm not that great at black and white. I like to see things for all of the shades. But I didn't trust that and I tried to make black and white decisions. But that's not true to me. Most entrepreneurs are like that. Most people who start businesses are gray types. They like to put a bit of a microscope over the way things are and question the status quo. And so that's what I want people in business to do. Just because you hear a one-liner that you think, well, that makes good sense and sounds very businessy, I should take that on board. No, no, no. Ask yourself, does that actually align with how I feel? Is that true to the person that I want to be? Is that true to the business I want to run? A lot of us are not designed to build a commercial profitable enterprise that works without us. And I'm fucking one of them. But I subscribed to that bullshit for a lot of years because I was flogged by it. I can't let go of this now. This will not be sold away from me. This will not be something that I have nothing to do with because I recognize and realize it's a part of me. I would have denied that for all of you once, but I'll never do that again, I promise. Unless it's what you want, unless it's what's right for you. And then I'll flog the shit out of you to make sure you get it. But until we stop for long enough as business owners and we really think about what's right for us, there's a one liner, and one of our clients, he's had it printed and stuck on his wall the other day. The quote is, what's right for me is right for everybody else. You only have to make the right decisions for yourself first, and then the rest will follow. And that's what I want for people. Please do not subscribe to woke bullshit that you hear on the internet just because some guru fucking told you it. I mean that for me. I mean that for people that you listen to on podcasts. I mean it for coaches that you're listening to. Anybody, you need a question how it sits for you. And what's right for you will be right for everybody else. And if you've got the right people on your team, they will back you 110% no matter what that looks like.
So we're going to have to vote you out next time, Kate. Is that what you're telling me?
Good luck.
That's
it. That's it.
It is interesting, those like statements and goals that we've probably had fed to us from such a young age. Like even just the Australian dream is to own your own house. Like, and we all just never really question it. It's just, that's what you do. So it is interesting just taking that step back to, is that true to what you actually want, or is that just one of those statements that's been fed to us from such a young age that we just subscribe to it, as you said.
Yeah.
Um,
You do, and you question yourself when you're in it. Like, I don't know how many people know I live in my caravan 6 months of the year.
yeah,
Now,
no,
some people be like, what? You live in a caravan 6 months of the year? Yeah, I do, because I don't subscribe to that dream. I subscribe to flexibility, ability to be wherever I want, whenever I want. And I've designed my life around that. A lot of people, like, I've had colleagues of mine on boards be like, oh, have you noticed there's these gypsies living down the river on their block? And I'm like, that's me, mate. That's me living down on the river in my caravan. And he's like, you? Who says that you can't have success but also live in a caravan? Some fuckwit did, but I
yeah.
don't buy his shit. So, or her shit. Um, so it's a very interesting, you're right. It's like we get subscribed to I should this and I should that. And the minute that word should comes out of your mouth, you need to have a good look in the mirror and reset.
Yeah, no, perfect. And the what's right for me is right for everyone else. Really cool one liner, but I also know our community, and I'm thinking of our team. We've got lots of people pleasers, a couple of them on the screen right now.
Yeah.
But it's a great statement, but it is challenging for people to put themselves first.
It is. It is. And I guess one thing I've learned in recent weeks on this particularly is um you it is all right to set healthy boundaries, and it is okay to draw lines, and it doesn't mean that you're being a person searching for conflict. It doesn't mean that you're being a person who's being unreasonable. And the people pleasers will have this, and I know because I've been one, they will have this notion that if I say no to something, or if I say this isn't right for me, or no, I don't agree with that, we take that as a position in a relationship or in an interaction of negativity,
Mm.
when in fact you are just protecting what is right for you. So, what's right for me is right for everybody else. You've then got to get really good. And I've only been developing this realistically in the last 6 months. You've got to then get really good at going, well, what are my boundaries, or what are the little fences I've got to put around my behavior that align with what's right for me is right for everybody else? Because we will too often allow ourselves to be bent over the kitchen bench because we are too scared of the fallout. But what about the fallout for yourself? And that's what I just will not do anymore. And I will fall, I will relapse into people pleasing and doing things. I'm a high altruist. It's in my personality profile. I can't escape that about myself. And that's what I love about myself. But the way I'll walk through this life now when it comes to protecting my own boundaries, and protect is even not, that feels quite assertive even for me to say that word, like, which is interesting on its own, isn't it? Because protection is like, it's a valiant thing, but it doesn't sit in my body still comfortably. It makes me feel like I'm being too whatever. So practice. You got to get, like, flex the muscle. You've got to do more of it, and you've got to keep sort of moving yourself forward in the right direction. But it's not going to happen overnight. You got to work on it. But you have to gift yourself at least the choice to work on it. And realize you're going to muck it up sometimes, and you're going to be awkward. And I've had people assert boundaries on me, and I'm like, whoa, I can see what you're doing here, but far out, that was like you went from zero to hero in asserting that boundary. But I can see what you're trying to achieve, so I'll respect it. You'll always be finding the healthy tension between getting your boundary met, like, or not allowing people to go past it, versus you going too far. It's just all exploration, and it's all lessons and learning, and you can't really fail in it. It's all just practice. And you just have to ask, like, give yourself grace and ask others to give you grace, because when you're practicing asserting a boundary for the first time ever, I remember, because Jace has really worked hard on this with me over the last few years. I remember a couple of times, particularly where he's asserted his boundary, which is very new for him to me, and I didn't respond very well. And you're going to get that. But you got to be ready and know that people aren't used to you showing up like that for yourself. And some people are not going to like it. And you know what we say to them? Get fucked, because I don't need you. If you can't love me for my boundary, then I can't have you in my life anymore. And you just love them and let them go.
Yeah. It does remind me a little bit of the elements of what you're saying here. My favorite book, which is The Regrets of the Dying, and I know that your book is based on. So yeah, I think that's for those that need to look at putting themselves first and living life for them. It's a perfect read to put some of those into practice.
Yeah, good one.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on throughout this process as I wrap up my Graham Norton dream of hosting some sort of interview process here?
You've nailed it, Megs, or Graham. Nah, it's okay. Like, know that it's okay to change your mind in anything in life. And I say this on repeat to a lot of people. No choices in life are irreversible apart from having children and, taking your own life. Those are two choices that you get to make, that can't be reversed. Everything else you choose in this life, you can take back. And so please stop white knuckling with hands around your own neck. Take the pressure off yourself when it comes to deciding things in this life, and know that you can change your mind, and there is no shame in that. And it is healthy, in fact, to go through this life expecting that you're going to make mistakes, and knowing that you will only learn through them, and they are here for you, and they're not happening to you. So yeah, own them and go forward with the lessons. A more resilient and incredible human being and business owner and parent and friend and whatever, sister, brother, child. Just, yeah, go with a bit of grace about it, and be okay with vulnerability, and that some choices that you make are not going to pan out, and that's okay. That would be my only thing, Meg. So thank you.
No, thank you. I'm glad you were comfortable to come back and join us at Ladies with Tradies, because you are super special and you've got a big heart, as I've said. Most important, I am really glad that you are believing in yourself and trusting yourself again, because that's it's needed, and you are everything. So the fact that you believe in that is brilliant. So yeah, thank you for being very open and honest with us today. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thanks, Meg. So thanks for the amazing questioning. That was great, very thought-provoking. And yeah, for anybody out there listening, if anything sort of hit a bit of a nerve, or you're like, yeah, okay, I need to have a rethink here, and we need the right people on our bus, yeah, reach out, obviously. Slide into the inbox. I'm really happy to chat to anybody about any of this stuff. So yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and yeah, everybody go forth and work the trade, live the life, and we'll catch up soon. Cheers, guys.